This is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley. I'm the fellow who has a hyphen in my name. The hyphen is silent, but I am anything but that. Respectonomics is bringing you the Living Attentively series, and this one is called Exist, Live and Thrive. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be exploring the human being, us, you and me individually, from the standpoint of what you might call our human construction and our human possibilities. My name is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley. I am your voice of Respectonomics. I'm also your ear. And if you hear me, then you may wish also to have me heard by you. So by all means, let me have your opinions and ideas. Jeremy@respectonomics.com. Jeremy@respectonomics.com. We also offer workshops, presentations, speeches, gatherings, social and otherwise, but basically to talk about the importance of the dignity and the respect that is due to a human being. In this particular point, we want to look at there are three things that a human being can do. Well, I suppose we could be dead, but I'm going to move away from the death series. And what I want to talk about here is the three things that we can be. We can exist, we can live, and we can thrive. Now, if you look at existence of a human being, you know that there are three parts to you, three parts to me, three parts to every human being on this planet, historically and in the future. I assume the future. And that is, we are made up of a body, that's the physicality of the being. We're made up of the mind, which is where we do all the processing. And of course, then there's the spirit, which is that inner being that belongs to each and every human being. That spirit is indivisible, it's extremely personal, it's yours, and it's within each of us. So that if we look at the concept of existence, what we need to understand is that many of us today live a world of existence and do not believe that we're living a life of living or thriving. In fact, we feel suppressed. So let's just take a look at this for a moment, because existence of the human being depends on food, it depends on light, it depends on oxygen, people, shelter, water. And I've missed out one and I'm leaving it to the end here, and that's hope. Because if you don't have hope, then your life will be contained into one of existence and not one of living or thriving. If you look at existence and think in terms of your body and you think of the necessities of living, but those same necessities apply to the mind and apply to the spirit. Let's go to the one that almost sounds squishy. It's almost the one you kind of don't want to talk about sometimes. It's sort of private. I don't want anybody else to know about it. It's mine, no one else's. And that is looking at the human spirit and asking ourselves, just in the basis of existence alone, nothing else, what is it that feeds the spirit? What is it that gives hope to the spirit? What is it that gives light to the spirit, the oxygen, the people, the shelter, and the water? Each of these are necessities to the human body, and each of these necessities applies to the human mind, and each of these necessities applies to the human spirit. And they are qualities and ingredients that are available to each and every one of us, or put another way, if we were to deny the body water or deny the body oxygen, if we deny food to the body will die. It will become a corpse. Therefore, if it is true of the body, it is true of the mind, it's true of the spirit. And what we need to do is to think, each of us, what is it that feeds my body and my mind and my spirit? What is it that oxygenates my body and my mind and my spirit? In many cases, these are personal decisions, and I think we should honor the decisiveness of each individual. But the key here is nonetheless to understand that existence has certain underlying requirements, and those requirements apply equally to the body and the mind and the spirit. Now let's move on, because If we're going to talk about existence, we can then up the ante and say, well, actually, I want to live. I want to thrive. And this is where we want to think about all of those things that allow us to live. We've talked about the necessities, the oxygen, the shelter, the water, and so on. But what is it that allows us to live? And again, this is a list that's extremely personal, and it's really worth drawing one up for oneself. What is it in your life that allows you to live? And live means your body to live. Is it going out for a long walk? Is it allowing yourself to have a relationship with people? Is it time to be in silence? If it's true for the body, does it apply to the mind? Does the mind enjoy music? Does the mind enjoy humor? Because these are the things that, in fact, when we inject them into our lives, whether it's rest or roots or silence or thought or trust or understanding, validation, identity, all of these things, each one is valid and applies to the body and the mind and the spirit when we want to up the ante and move from a place of existence to a place of living. And let's go one more step. What if we said, I'm okay with existing, I'm okay with living, but I want to thrive? And thriving is touching into those intangibles that give us a combination of hope, they give us a combination of attitude, they give us a combination of forward thinking, they give us an attitude of vision, they give us an attitude of looking at something that might seem to be far out. But how many times have we recognized in our own lives that our thriving depends on meeting our potential? We can exist, we've said that. We can live, and that means taking existence to a higher level. But the thriving is when we look at our potential, whether it's the potential for our body, potential for our mind, or the potential for our spirit, and we decide that we're going to close the gap between what we're actually doing, what we're actually living with, and we're going to thrive by closing the gap between what we're capable of doing and what we're actually doing. We're going to be gap closers. We're going to get into the business of thriving. We're going to make it a distinct point, a distinct goal, a distinct objective to thrive. And one of the great advantages of thriving is in itself extremely attractive. If you think of a thriving community, a thriving village, a thriving field, thriving anything, thriving in itself is extremely attractive. And when we thrive, we draw people to us. And if we draw people to us, we are the ones also who can show others how to thrive, show them how to live, and explain to them the fundamentals of existence. So we have this whole combination of existing, living, and thriving. Each one builds on the other, each one takes us up accordingly, and each one allows us to be able to reach the full potential of our lives because we all have potential. I didn't say we have somebody else's potential. I'm talking about one's own potential. Whether it's my potential to draw alongside other people, whether it's allowing ourselves to live out our passions, whether it's our sense of living in a place of gentleness, a place of being strident, a place of being robust, a place of being persevering, whatever it is, think of the words that describe where you are distinguishing between the existing and the living and the thriving. Because when we bring that combination of existing, living, and thriving together, and we apply them to the other three constituencies of the human being, the body and the mind and the spirit, we are in a world where we, as the saying goes, we take no prisoners because we are now looking at our destiny and our sense of being and our sense of promise. And we're taking responsibility for our own prospects, for our own successes, for our own objectives. All because we look at existence, living, and thriving in the sense of body, mind, and spirit. It's within everybody's corridor, it's in mine, and it's in yours. I want to terminate or stop with one comment, and it's this. In all of our lives, we have plans and we have goals and we have upsets and we have disturbances and things just go right and wrong and all that stuff. But there's one thing that is unique. We can't even explain it properly. But each and every one of us, if we took the time and look around us very personally, look around ourselves like you might a compass and look around at different points of your life and my life, we will find there are miracles. And the miracles are delivered to us by providence, by nature. All of us will have a view of where the miracles come from. But you know, one of the greatest human aspects, human considerations, is to understand miracles, the miracles of life, the miracles of existence, the miracles of thriving, but to understand that miracles do happen, and they happen in each of our lives, and every now and again to stop. And we always talk about stop and smell the roses. How about we stop and smell the miracles and look at the miracles that happen in our lives, in other people's lives, and just say to ourselves how incredibly fortunate we are to know these miracles and to know that they've happened to us personally and individually. So there we have it: existence, living, thriving, body, mind, and spirit, and the underpinning of these miracles that happen to each and every one of us. I think this is how we can build on our strength of our own strength. This is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley. I'm your voice of Respectonomics. I'm your year of Respectonomics, Jeremy at respectonomics.com. And by all means, contact us for presentations, whether they are personal, corporate, whether they deal in the world of conflict resolution, whatever it might be. The whole issue of restoring the dignity of the human being is one that can bring a new lifeline to the continuity and the success of humanity itself. I rest my case.